What's going on, lads? It's Chris, your favorite gamer, and we're doing a bit of different content today. I have a a story I'd like to share with you guys, and you're welcome to believe it. You're welcome to not believe it. Um, my dog is also in the background, little Munchie. He's my little Doberman Pinscher. He's a sweetheart, so you might hear him chime in every now and then. So I felt like I needed to share this story. I've been telling a lot of people about it, and I wanted it's a testimony in a way. And if you're not Christian, that's okay. And maybe you have a different you have a different philosophy about this. But this is a story of something I really did see when I was in second grade. So I'd be about 7 years old. I'm 27 now, and I have been looking for answers for this for about 20 years. And in some ways, I think it's been answered, and in some ways, there's always more to learn, and that's just life in general. So with that being said, I may talk about some other things as well, some philosophies, but the main thing is this story. So whether you're Christian or not, take this story however you will. I'm just trying to find answers, and I find it to be fascinating, and I've been trying to find answers for 20 years, so obviously it's quite significant to me. So when I was about 7, my mom had told my brother and I that we had an unborn brother. Now, at the time, I didn't realize, what that meant. I was still processing or trying to understand it. As a child, you're not really going to understand the reality of that. But I'll clarify that as a Christian, I am an open-minded Christian, is what I've deemed myself. So I do go to church occasionally, but I really have I have my own relationship with Christ and creator of the universe, whatever you want to call him. And I have a different philosophy, if you will. I think it's very simple. Treat others how you want to be treated, show others love, and walk in faith. Just do your best to be a good person, and God will welcome you to the gates of heaven. Of course, it's said that you need to accept Christ as your Savior to get into heaven, and I agree with that. But I believe those that are lost and in some ways but still have a good soul the Lord may forgive them and still let them go into heaven. I don't think He'd let a good soul burn in hell. But so back to the original story. So when I was 7, my mom had told me that about my unborn little brother. Now I've always been very protective of friends, family, and especially my younger siblings. I'm the oldest. So in my mind, the way I processed it was I thought that my little brother didn't get his chance to live because I wasn't able to protect him. So I thought it was my fault. And of course that can be kind of really hard for a child to process. But this is not me making it up. I've memorized this story this story for a reason. I know every detail because it is something I've actually experienced, and I've always wanted answers, so I've only told people very close to me about it. But I think because of all the craziness going on, I think it's about time I speak my testimony, and just let the world think whatever they want to think. If you think I'm crazy, that's fine. I'm still, I still love you, and I'm just out here trying to be a good person because that's what it gave me the drive to do. You're all right, baby. You're okay, Munchie. I love you. Anyway, so I talked to God about it that same day, I believe. I remember it was kind of dark when my mom told me, so it was either the next day or it was the same day. I'm not sure. I was 7. I'm 27 now. It was a long time ago. But I remember it being daytime, and I liked to look at the sky. As a matter of fact, I'd called Jesus Blue, because doctors told me he was an imaginary friend or whatever. So I'd call him my imaginary friend Blue. Because he's like the sky and it's above you. And Christ, in my mind, heaven is above you in the sky. So I was like, okay, so Christ is all around me and he's above me, so blue. It just made sense as a kid. I don't know what I was thinking at that time. It was a long time ago. In some ways, I do know what I was thinking. Oh no, I have Asperger's. Who knows? I have a pretty good memory. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but anyway, getting off topic. ADHD. So I was looking up at the sky, and I talked to Jesus, my best friend slash. I consider him like my true father in a way. Not that I'm Jesus. Jesus is all of our father. Okay. So he's my spiritual father. He's an example of a father figure, if you will. I do not think I'm descendant from God or whatever, but we are all children of the Creator, and that's how I see it. So I'm not going to get deep into that, but anyway, I looked it up, and I was like, Jesus, I feel bad for I don't know how I worded it, but I basically, to sum it up, was I have sorrow for my little brother. I don't think it's fair that he didn't get a chance to live, and if it was my fault, I apologize. Forgive me, Lord. Because I've always heard that you died on the cross for our sins, and you gave us a second chance at life, that if it's possible for me to give my brother a second chance at life and let him live through me, see through my eyes, get a chance to experience life, because he never got the chance. So I made that prayer, and I forget what else I said, but that was basically the sum of it, is giving my little brother another chance to live through me. So that same night, I was looking at the stars, because not only do I love looking at the sky and clouds, and I like looking at stars. So, I had a telescope and everything. I thank you, Mom, for buying me that. I appreciate that. I'm sorry that I'm telling a schizophrenic story, but I think it's a testimony. Anyway, moving on. Love my mom. Anyway, so I was looking up at the stars, and I saw one that I just could feel something was off about it. So I kept looking at it, and it just kept moving. And I know there's this optical illusion or whatever, but this was a lot more than an optical illusion. We're talking, this star was moving very slow, and then started moving in very unnatural. This is I was 7 at the time, so it was 2006, before drones were around and all this other technology. So I was moving around all over the place, literally like this, all over the place. And it was just one at first. It was changing from red to white a lot, very frequently, and then progressively started changing into different colors later on. Pardon me. But so it would change from red to white. Now, eventually, I saw others join in. I can't remember where they came from. Maybe I think if I remember correctly, they blended into the rest of the stars in a way to look like regular stars. And they started moving around. I started seeing more and more, and I would say about 7 or 8 of them popped up, and they were all moving all crazy. So at the time, I lived in a trailer with my mom, and this was on my stepfather's, my mom's in-laws. I called them Nanny and Papa. So they own a cow field. We lived on that cow field. And they'd come on pick up hay. So we're basically in the center of a field with a fence, like a fence in a very, very long driveway, which will come into play later. And so we had in that fence, we have, let's say we have the house, and then over here, in the corner of that fence, my window is so let's say we're looking at it this way, right? Or we'll look at it like this. So say this is the front of the house, this is the back of the house. My room is back here, and my window points towards this abandoned barn, which was in the corner of that fence. Fences off from the field. So we have our property, the fence, the cow field, and then we have in the corner, a little, in the far back corner of that field is a tree line, which will also come into play, and you'll find out why. So I was looking at these stars new, and then I went to go and run to. I think my mom was in the living room watching a show or something, or in her room. I forget. But I was like, Mom, you got to come and see this. So I had her come to my room and look out the window, and all those stars had just kind of, and I could kind of sense which ones were a little bit different. There's something off about them. But maybe, children are supposed to be more sensitive to, spiritual stuff like that. So maybe that was part of it. I'm not sure. But the original one I saw kind of disguised itself and acted like it was a plane, kind of going off. Like if you were to look at my window, it was going off. From my perception, it would be going to the right. From y'all's perception, it looks like I'm pointing left, but it was going to the right side of my window. It was just kind of flying off, looking like it's flying off in the distance, like slowly, blinking lights, just like a plane. My mom was looking, she's like, it's nothing, sweetie. You need to go to bed, it's late. And she kissed me on the right side of my temple. And then she went back to the living room or her room to watch Grey's Anatomy or something. She loved Grey's Anatomy. Anyway, so I was like, no, it wasn't a plane. I know what I saw, because if you see 7 or 8 stars flying around like that unnaturally, that's not a plane. That's not a plane. Come on now. But my mom didn't see it. I don't blame her. But I actually, so I kept looking at that plane, and then I knew there was something up about it, and it started doing the thing again, and the rest of them joined in, and they were just doing all kinds of different crazy movements, and then eventually they kind of formed like a circle, all 7 or 8 of them, and by this point they were no longer changing from red to white. They were changing from every color you can think of or conceive, just kind of flashing through all those colors, and then they kind of combined into one big orb. These were orbs in a way. It's the only way I can explain it. It looks like a star, kind of like an orb. I'm not sure, but when they combined, there was a pure white energy in the center, kind of like if you picture a bubble in your mind, the kind of rainbow-like outline it has is kind of what was the light it was giving off, and the outline in the center was just pure white, and it just kept like bursting with energy. And it looked bright. It was like what I would call a nocturnal sun. You could still see the stars behind it. And I don't know how no one else saw it. Maybe the veil opened for me or something. I have no idea how to describe this, but I saw it. I know I saw it, and I've never forgotten it. So it was just bursting with energy, just kind of like almost center of the sky, or like center of like my window. So my window is my viewpoint, and it's as if it's aware of it. It's strange. But it was doing that. And then it went to the tree line, like as if it was a horizon, and it looked like a sunset in a way, but it was bursting with energy. It was huge. I forget how big exactly, but it was big. It was big, like a giant orb, just moving around the sky, and it moved fast, very fast. For I would say it looked to be bigger than a house, like a 2-story house. It was very big. It then went kind of like behind the tree line still, but also like behind the barn in a way. And there was this tree just kind of perfectly behind it. It looked like a painting in a way. Obviously this was real life. It wasn't a painting, but it just looked very beautiful. So it started, bursting behind the tree, and that tree beside the barn, and the barn itself, like that's meant to symbolize something. And it was bursting with energy there. And then it flies back to the center and goes all the way down to the end of our driveway, which we have a pretty big tree at the end of that driveway, and it kind of like enveloped it in a way. Well, not enveloped it. I guess it was behind the tree and bursting with energy behind it, like just kind of surrounding the outside of the branches. As if it was maybe symbolizing the tree of life. I'm not sure. I've had many theories. So it started shining behind that tree, and then after a little bit, it went back to the center of the sky, and here's where it gets even more interesting. I know that sounds crazy already, but it gets wilder. So after doing all that, and I'm just in awe, I'm a kid, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Anybody else would be like, whoa, what's going on? But I don't know. To me, I wasn't afraid. I thought it was, putting on a show for me or something. I was like, oh, it's a new friend or something. But so it went back to the center of the sky, and Munchie's joining us now. Say hi, Munchie. Yeah, you little goober. He's trying to sit. He's crushing my glasses. That's okay. They're just glasses and they're cheap. But anyway, so Munchie's featured in the video. Thanks for the tail in the mouth, buddy. Goofball. I'm telling a story. Okay, I love you though. I love you, baby. He's a good boy. So, sorry. Anyway, back to the topic. So it was up there for a little bit, and then it kind of like started. I don't know how to explain this. It kind of formed into a like it came like it was coming from the center. Like it came down towards my window like a stream, a transparent stream in the sky. You know how a stream looks. The best way I can describe it is if it was like a stream that was transparent, like a spiritual stream, and it had hues of specifically more along the lines of like blues, purples, and kind of green, and maybe a hint of yellow, but I think blues, purples, and greens from what I can remember. And it's kind of like the Northern Lights, like how you see that, but just think of them like kind of transparent, almost ghost-like. And it just came from the center of that mass, that orb or whatever it was. You know, white in the middle, like pure energy, like spiritual energy or something, with the rainbow-like outline. And it was coming down like a stream. It went through my window, and it reacted to my window as if it was some kind of prism. I'm not sure how that works, but it was like it was a prism, and it kind of mapped out. Like, think of the Northern Lights, or those little pads when you're a kid. You like draw a line, and it's like a rainbow line. That's what it looked like, and it was tracing out different symbols. And I've actually seen some of these symbols in like cornfields and stuff recently. I've seen some wild videos. Maybe you guys watch the same stuff. I don't know. But different symbols I've seen in different cornfields recently, and just different faces of people I would meet, different symbols, different places, what looked like memories from the future that I may see, which I did see. I have seen a couple of years ago. I haven't seen anything else that reminded me of it quite yet. But it showed me all of that. Mapped it all over my walls, just trying to tell me something with different symbols and images of what looked like, you know, the future, or maybe, pardon me, the past. I'm not sure, but different faces, symbols, and images, all traced out with that rainbow-like line. And after it showed me all these things, it started swirling around me, and I could see like these faces in there, like laughing, like they're playing with me, like a parent, you know, trying to make their child laugh or giggle, you know. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. I was just in absolute wonder and awe about what I was seeing, because I just didn't understand what was going on. You know, I thought maybe this was normal. I was only 7, so I don't know. But eventually it was swirled around me, and I absorbed it, or it possessed me. I'm not quite sure. But it went into me, you know, like I absorbed it, and I felt different ever since. And I ended up, you know, I think the next day, or the day after, I'm not sure. My second grade teacher, Miss Harp, had us draw a. By the way, hi Miss Harp, if you're seeing this, I doubt you will, but best teacher ever. Love Miss Harp, she's awesome. Second grade teacher, loved her. But I showed her. She was like, she had us draw a picture for some reason. I forget what. Maybe it was like a special weekend day or something. Like the weekend was coming up. She wanted us to do something fun. I don't know. But she had us draw something. And I think we just got back from break or something. And she wanted us to draw what we had seen over the summer or something. Or not the summer, but like spring, like some kind of holiday vacation or whatever. So I drew a picture of that. Specifically the moment where they were showing me things in my room, and I showed it to her, and she's like, "Wow, this is really good. You know, did you see this in a dream or something?" And I was like, "No, I actually saw this." And she was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, I really saw this. Like, I saw this in my room, and she was like, she looked concerned and confused, and I wasn't sure why. You're okay, Bibby. It's okay, sweetheart. He just wants to be pet. Come here, baby. But I was uh, I was confused as to why she reacted that way, and I guess she told my mom about it, and I talked to some therapists and some doctors about what I saw, and ever since then, from that point on, they diagnosed me with Asperger's, ADHD, OCD, and social anxiety. They said it could develop into PTSD and bipolar and other stuff or whatever. So they started giving me pills. I don't take the pills anymore. I stopped taking the pills like years ago when I was a kid because my mom, didn't like the way it was affecting me. It kind of basically made me a zombie. Sorry, and basically like took my personality away. So I stopped taking the pills. But so I thought maybe, I don't know. I just kind of went with maybe there was something wrong with me. I'm not sure. But I really did see this, and I don't see things like that very often. I'm not like, I haven't been diagnosed with schizophrenia. I don't see things. I mean, I do, I guess, hear voices, but I talk to God, I talk to Jesus, Blue, my best friend, forever and always. My best friend, Blue, or Jesus. I feel like maybe he has his angels talk to me sometimes, but that's just because I thought in my mind, that's what Christians are supposed to do. We're supposed to have a relationship with Christ. We're supposed to, try and hear the voice of God or whatever, and it's different for everybody. Everybody has a personal relationship with Christ, and that has shaped my philosophy and my ideology of my Christian beliefs. Its base value is Christian values, yes, and I do accept Christ as my Savior, and I believe in Jesus, and I believe in the Creator and everything like that. But I think the Bible itself is a guideline in a way, and we got to think, that book has been tainted and changed with propaganda and other people's interpretations or ideologies for thousands of years. So we don't really know the truth of what the book was written, and trying to find the answers is very difficult in our day and age. But more and more truths are being revealed. A lot of prophecies are coming true, and I'm excited for Jesus to come back, and I can't wait for him to give me answers on what I saw. But what the meaning was, but all I took it is it inspired me, it strengthened my faith, and I've never doubted what I saw. I know what I saw, and I've said this story to people for years that I really trusted to try and find answers of what their ideas of it or philosophies on it, so I can get an idea of what the hell it meant, because I still don't have any concrete answers at this moment. But in my opinion, a true Christian, it doesn't matter whether you know every word of every verse in the Bible, or how many times you go to church. It's how you walk in life. If you're not living the verses you memorized perfectly, and you judge people just because they get one or two words wrong, or just don't know the verses, then you're a hypocrite, and you're not representing Christ very well. I'm not perfect. I'm not God. I'm not an angel. I'm celestial on the astrological chart, and my grandma called me angel, so I try to be a guardian angel for people around me, especially loved ones, but also strangers. I show love to everybody. That's just how I felt. I thought, humans were supposed to be, and I still feel that way. I don't know why the world is the way it is, but there are good people in this world. But I think it's very simple. If you don't walk the life that you preach, then again, you're a hypocrite. That's just plain and simple. Makes sense to me. It's very simple to be a follower of Christ, or just a good person, or worthy of heaven, or whatever you believe, Valhalla. Just walk in love and faith, show people love, treat others how you want to be treated, be a good Samaritan, treat other people like family. Just do your best to be a good person. If you mess up, try and do better. Ask for forgiveness to God, or whatever you believe. If you believe in the universe, I think the universe and God are the same thing. It's all around us. He's all around us all the time. It just kind of makes sense. I could talk about this forever, but to simplify it, just do your best to be a good person. Don't judge yourself just because you're a human that makes mistakes. And of course, some people have done some very, very horrible things, and we all know about that one. I leave that to God to figure out. There's some things that I personally find hard to forgive, and I ask the Lord to forgive me for that lack of forgiveness. But, for those you can understand, just pray for them, and, ask God to guide them the best He can. And he can do really well, but free will, He gave it to us for a reason. So some people just might not be receptive to just being a good person. But with that being said, just be a good person. Keep on smiling. Keep on giving other people a reason to smile. Laugh at me when I'm being a dork, which happens like all the time. So that's very easy. Thank you guys for all the support. I know I only have 42 subscribers, but I very much appreciate y'all checking out my video game videos and everything like that. But I just wanted to share this because I felt like I needed to tell this story to people, and I'd love to hear, people's ideas. It's okay, baby. It's okay, sweetheart. Anyway, he's such a sweet, look at that cute, yeah, cute baby. He's such a good boy. Anyway, just be a good person. Show love to people, and if people are being toxic in your life, just walk away. Let God handle it. Okay, you'll be all right. Surround yourself with people that love you. Help those that need it. And some people you can save, and some people you have to let them save themselves or leave it to God. But that's my story. I hope you guys found that interesting, inspiring in some way. And if you guys have answers or any questions or theories, please drop it down in the comments. You don't have to like or follow. Okay, if you want to like and subscribe, that's fine. And I very much appreciate that. But really, I'm about the conversation. I just wanted to start a conversation about this and maybe connect with other people that have similar experiences, because I haven't heard anyone. I've heard a lot about these orbs and everything, but nobody, as far as I know, has had an experience similar to that, and I just want to know. So let me know your thoughts. I'm always praying for everybody. I love all of you. I hope you're living your best life and being the best person you can be. Don't hold yourself back. You only limit yourself by the limits you set on yourself. Anyway, keep on smiling, keep on giving other people a reason to smile, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.